Oh god. Oh god, he's gonna kill us all! Oh hi there, and welcome to part 15 of Chrono Trigger. Where are we? This definitely does not look like home. Okay. Well then, you there, the man with the bubble. How'd you end up here? Where are we anyways? Drifters. What does that mean? This is the end of time. Huh. Huh. That's a new one for me. I can't say I've ever been to the end of time. Anyways, this guy is going to actually explain to you what is going on. He says when 4 or more entities of varying origins enter a temporal rift, they end up here at the end of time. So, interesting. And basically, this is the way of the game explaining, hey, you can only have 3 people on a party at a time. Because, you know, you can only travel with 3 at a time, so you need to drop somebody off and have them stay here. So, yay! So, who's going to stay behind? I am going to tell you right now to leave Robo behind. Why? Because, well, you'll see in a minute. The end of time is not a very big place. It's a very bleak and small place. There really isn't much to do here. This is going to be a short part, which actually works out for me because I need to go study for a test tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, he also mentions that you can change party members at any time through the menu. And then he's also going to mention that there's some pillars of light from when we entered and that they connect to different eras. So that's convenient, I guess. And then he also mentions, beware the gates connected to that bucket. So what he mentioned about switching up parties is true. You can take your party and you can switch them basically at any time. You can do this in dungeons, you can do this just about anywhere except when you're in combat you can't switch out team members. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't really like using, say, Marla, you could have Marla sit out, and then if you need to heal, you can switch her to your party. I used to not even realize that you could do that, like just switch out at any time. It kind of makes the game a little bit more easier if you know what you're doing. So it's definitely worth keeping in mind, because from this point on, we're never going to have less than 4 members on our whole party at a time. This bucket here is a little bit different. It restores your health and magic, and then there's another time pillar here that I'm going to get to in a second. Anyways, the old man's going to call you over again. He's going to say, hey, look, listen, watch out. You needn't be in such a rush. Before you go, take a look in the door behind. So, if you come back here, you are going to meet... What is it? What are you looking at? This is Spekkio, Master of War. What an interesting character. He's going to ask you how he looks, strong or weak. Now, the first time you play this game, you're probably thinking, why is he asking that? It is actually a relevant question that means something, because what he says here is true. How he looks depends on how strong you are. If you're strong, he looks strong. If you're weak, he looks weak. That's because Spekkio has 6 different forms based on your current level. I found out not too long ago that Spekkio means mirror in, I think, Italian, I want to say, which is appropriate because he mirrors your strength. So, anyways, he's going to explain something about magic. Because up until this point, we haven't really had any magic. But now he's going to talk about magic, how there was a place where magic existed, and now basically only the fiends can use it. And apparently we have the inner strength to use magic. And as I've explained many times in the past, fire, water, light, and shadow magic. He'll mention that Chrono is light, Marla is water, and Luca is fire. None of this should be new based on what I've said to you in the past. Anyways, he's going to tell you, starting from the door, circle clockwise around the walls of his room 3 times, and say, "I want to use magic," over and over in your head. What? What? What does this have to do with magic? I want to use magic, 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 I want to use magic. Did I do it? Did I do it? Yay, I did it! This is the most random and weird thing. Oh, I just do not understand the point of it. It's actually a little bit glitchy to do that, but I've gotten it down to a science. Just kind of follow the motion I did. His instructions may be a bit difficult to follow, but yeah, run in 3 circles. Again, not really sure what that has to do with magic, but anyways, yeah, so you can try it out in combat. So we can fight Spekkio, and you can fight all 6 of his forms. And like the weird shadow creatures in 2300 AD, you can only use magic on him to be effective. Any physical attacks, including physical techs, will be ineffective against him. So Chrono's going to get the lightning tech, Marla's going to get the ice tech, and Luca is going to get the fire tech. And Spekkio has something along the lines of, I think 800 hit points. Now, I'm assuming at this point you're going to be between levels 10 and 19, which is the current form of Spekkio that I'm fighting. This form is known as, the Koala form. Is that right? Yeah, Koala. I think that's his current form. There is a form before level 10, a frog form. It's highly unlikely that you will ever see this form in combat. You would have to basically run from just about every battle in the game and get here at ridiculously low levels. It is possible to see it. It's just highly unlikely you'll fight frog form. Frog form only has 350 hit points, and Spekkio will actually give you a reward after fighting him. If you beat him in frog form, he'll give you 1 magic capsule. If you beat him in koala form, which is his current form, he'll give you a magic capsule and 5 ethers. And then, as I said, he'll change as the game goes on. He gets an Ogan form at level 20, a Gelor form at level 30, and then a Masa and Moon form at 40. That'll make more sense later in the game. And then he has a new form at level 99, making him the strongest enemy in the entire game at level 99. So remember to come back and fight him. You can learn a lot of new things from him. And then also, like I said, you pick up a lot of new techs. You get lightning for Chrono, ice for Marla, and flamethrower for Luca. And then Robo doesn't learn any magic. That's why I said don't bring Robo back here. You can switch back to Robo now if you want him, but at this point in the game, Chrono, Marla, Luca is a very strong combo, and it'll help you out a lot in the next area we go to. So for now, sit on this team of 3. You also learn Antipode Bomb with Marla and Luca, and this is a really strong magical dual tech, which actually turns into shadow magic, believe it or not. but it's really strong. Keep that in mind. Marla and Luca are the two strongest magic users until way late game, so just keep that in mind. Anyways, that wraps up Spekkio. Remember to come back and check him out. He does change throughout the game. And then the old man is going to call you over again. Hey, listen. Anyways, he was right. We have magic in us. Yay! So he is going to serve as a guide on Time's road for you. So if you're ever at any point kind of confused in the game, typically he'll say kind of some random nonsense to help you out. So just keep that in mind. It's worth coming back to him. Now there's three things I want to explain. First is the pillars. These pillars lead to different areas in the game. They'll lead to any previous time gate that you've gone to. And they only open up gates once you go through them, which means that there's actually 2 gates that you have to go back and unlock to get pillars for. That would be the one at the Millennial Fair and the one that connects the Guardia Forest to the One Dome. At this point in time, you can also go to the Medina Village in 1000 AD, which is where you want to go to progress the game, and the Mystic Mountains in 65 million BC. You don't need to go there anytime soon. And then there's the Protodome Gate, which is where we just came from. Now, I'm actually taking this gate because there is one thing that you can do if you go through this gate. There should be a random strength capsule, and it is hidden right beneath the time gate. Now, there are very, very, very few completely hidden and, like, just impossible to see items in the game, and that is actually one of them. That is one of the hardest items to find in the entire game, so I just thought I'd point that out. I honestly did not discover that item until maybe 2 or 3 playthroughs ago, and it was because I read another walkthrough guide that pointed it out. That is definitely one of the hardest items to find. The next thing I want to explain is this bucket here. The old man explained it before, and this gate is a gate, this bucket. It leads to 1999 AD, the Day of Lavos. So that means at any point in the game, you can take this bucket and go straight to the final boss of the game. I kid you not. However, mind you, the final boss in the game is really, really, really difficult. Now, I didn't really explain my screen layout for this walkthrough much in the through my commentary, but in the very bottom right corner of the walkthrough screen layout is a little bucket in the bottom right. Now, there are 13 different game endings. There can be more depending on how you interpret what different game endings are, but the game recognizes 13 different endings, and depending on when you fight Lavos will determine what kind of ending you get. So, at the very end of the walkthrough, once I'm finished uploading everything, I'm going to cover the different game endings. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, right now, as I upload the walkthrough, there isn't going to be anything there, but when if you're watching this and I already finished this walkthrough, there will be an annotation that will take you to the current relevant game ending if you were to go fight Lavos at any point in time. So just keep that in mind. That's what the little bucket is there. There's not going to be any annotations there until the walkthrough is over. So I just thought I'd point that out. If you would like to fight Lavos at any point, go ahead and try your hand. I can assure you at level 13, you're going to die very quickly. One last thing that I forgot to mention, if you have a team party member that isn't with you, but they're on the sidelines, like for instance, Robo isn't with me right now, Robo will gain 75% of experience from combat, so that he will for the most part keep up in levels, but by the time you get to the very late game, if you haven't had him with you, he'll be a few levels behind. That's why it's nice to kind of mix up your party. He'll still keep up with you in levels, but he'll also kind of fall a little bit behind. And then there is one last pillar here, and this is actually new to later versions of Chrono Trigger. This was not in the original version of the game. This gate leads to a place called the Arena of Ages. I'm going to explain that next part. So that wraps up this video. Thank you, and good night.